A repeat DUI offender causes a deadly crash. She's now out of jail on just a few $100s, while the victim's family says the judge needs to lose his job.
A young woman kidnapped at gunpoint in Gwinnett County. Tonight, police are on the desperate search for her and the suspects.
But first, a 12-year-old girl is being questioned after a shooting at a California middle school. A 15-year-old boy was shot in the head, but is expected to survive. 3 other students were wounded. All Los Angeles middle and high schools are supposed to do random weapon searches each day, but we don't know if this school followed protocol.
The oldest son of the late Cuban dictator Fidel Castro has killed himself. According to state-run media, Fidel Castro Diaz-Balart took his own life after months of treatment for depression. The 68-year-old was known as Felito for his resemblance to his famous father. Terrifying video shows fire on board a plane in Russia just moments after landing. A portable power unit exploded, forcing everyone to evacuate. Crew members used bottled water to put out the flames.
And you might want to fill up before your Outer Banks vacation. Today, the only gas station on Ocracoke Island shut off its pumps. The owners say damage from Hurricane Matthew left them unable to pay their bills. And we have a lot of big stories for you tonight, and one we're all keeping an eye on is the weather. And Chris Holcomb is tracking rain and the chance of snow.
Yeah, we're watching this area of heavy rain that's closing in on Atlanta right now. You can see what we've got going on. Showers, we've been tracking them through northwest Georgia tonight. Now look at this. This is the actual front that's moving through. And just ahead of that, we have a thin band of very heavy rain just moved through North Fulton, coming into North DeKalb, the north end of the perimeter, through Cobb County, down through Douglas County and Carroll County. That's about to sweep through Atlanta. It's going to be some brief heavy rain and then gusty winds back behind that. And that wind is going to bring in some much colder air. And where that colder air is mixing in with the moisture, yeah, look at this. We've got some snow through parts of Tennessee, and it's just now beginning to come into North Georgia here, right on the Georgia-Tennessee line there in parts of Fannin County. These counties that border the state line here between Georgia and Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina have the potential to see some light snow mixing in. It's going to move out quickly and then be breezy and cold tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll let you know when we'll see another brush of winter weather. More on that in a bit.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Imagine losing a loved one and finding out the person who allegedly caused their death was able to pay $600 and walk out of jail within hours, even before you have had time to grieve. It's really difficult to fathom, but it actually happened to one Metro Atlanta family. And tonight, Faith Abube spoke to the family, and they're now calling for the magistrate court judge who set the suspect's bond so low to lose his job.
She spent maybe 14 hours just waiting to go in front of a judge, and that's it. And it was a $600 cash bond. That's it.
The thought alone makes Catherine Miller physically ill.
There are no words for the gut punch that this has created.
42-year-old Amanda Hopper parked in the middle of I-75 North in Whitfield County back in September, allegedly high on meth. Her engine turned off, taking a nap.
Welcome 911, where's your emergency?
There's a vehicle stopped in the center lane.
He don't have no flashers on or anything.
It wasn't long after those 911 calls when Miller's stepson, Brett, who was traveling on that highway, hit the 42-year-old and died.
The world has stopped for our family. And no one seems to care. No one.
Hopper, a repeat offender with 4 prior DUI arrests and 3 convictions, was charged with involuntary manslaughter, along with 7 other charges. Despite the DA's pleas for the judge to not grant her bond, the judge went ahead and set a $6,000 bond anyway.
This is inexcusable. There's no other way to say that Haynes Townsend needs to lose his position.
The Whitfield County DA could not comment on this ongoing case, so we went to Cobb County Prosecutor LaTonya Hines to shed some light on the judge's actions.
Is it disappointing that, knowing this type of history, that they would do a $6,000 bond? Of course, but at the same time, knowing also that these are coming off of traffic charges, it is not uncommon to have that type of a bond.
It could very well be his daughter. Next. She's not done. She'll go back out, she'll drive, she'll kill somebody else.
So, Faith, one of the big questions tonight is why would the judge allow someone who was on the run after the crash, who has 3 prior DUI convictions and is facing 8 charges, including manslaughter, out tonight?
Yeah, that's the first question you want to answer when you hear the story. And tonight I talked to Judge Townsend, and he tells me he's been doing this for 21 years, and his job is not to set a bond that punishes a suspect, but rather just make sure that that suspect is able to show up in court. He also tells me, during the court proceedings, the DA made his case, but Hopper's attorney also had a say in all of this, and in the end, he, the judge, thought it was okay to set this bond. This is something this family will never understand.
Right now, more than 6,000 of you are using the power of social media to try to help police find a woman taken from a Gwinnett County motel at gunpoint. You're sharing her picture and your comments coming from around the world. You're praying for her safe return tonight. Chris Hopper went to the motel where it all happened to walk us through the dangerous chain of events.
Gwinnett police say this is where it all started very early yesterday morning. A man and woman were inside of a hotel room here at the Crossland Economy Studios off of Jimmy Carter in Peachtree Corners, when all of a sudden police say there was a knock at the hotel room door. Standing there was a man with a handgun. He demanded some things from the male victim and then took off with 20-year-old Christina Day. The female victim and the suspect were last spotted in his car leaving the hotel, and they haven't been seen since. And in the midst of all of this, police say that the male victim who was inside the hotel room made his way over here to the Waffle House to call police and get them involved. Now tonight, police tell us that Christina Day can also go by Kristen. She's tall, medium to heavy build. She's got a heart tattoo on her left wrist. She has long, thick dreadlocks, and she was last seen wearing dark jeans, a bright green dress tucked into her jeans like a shirt, and then a light jean jacket. As for the male suspect they're looking for, he's described as a black male, about 5'8" with a medium build. He has twists as hair, about 2 inches long, with scruffy facial hair and a gold tooth. Now, if you know anything, you're asked to call Gwinnett County Police. If you spot the female victim or the suspect, it's important that you call 911. And anybody who has information that leads to an arrest here is up for a $2,000 reward.
And tonight, Only 11 Alive is talking to parents of a Kuwaiti teenager who became the first Georgia child to die from the flu this season. Kira Molina was perfectly healthy before she started feeling sick last week, but her parents say a rapid flu test came back negative. At first, they thought she was getting better, then the situation quickly grew worse, and just 5 days later, she died in the hospital. Tonight, their advice for other parents.
It takes that extra second or that extra day off. Make the time. Do what you have to do. Go have a recheck, double check. And if you're not trusting in what this person tells you, go back and get a second opinion. It's that burst of life that comes back, kind of. Like I said, she went to bed and she didn't get up again.
Her parents say the flu test Kira was given only tested for 2 strains, A and B, but not C, which is the one that ended up taking her life. There's a new virus out there that's making news that's similar to the flu, but it's rarely getting tested for by doctors. It's called the adenovirus, and we talked to doctors today to see if you should be worried about it.
Some of the symptoms of adenovirus can mimic the influenza virus or the flu virus.
So what is this mysterious adenovirus? Well, it was discovered in the 50s and has a lot of the same nastiness as the flu. Runny nose, sore throat, cough, headache, and like the flu, it can cause upper respiratory infections, pneumonia, and bronchitis if not treated. But the good news is
most of the infections with adenovirus are what we call self-limiting. You get better with time.
Here's the good news. Adenovirus is pretty rare, and they've already developed a vaccine, which they're using for the military against 2 strains of it. So bottom line, should I be worried about this new virus with a scary name?
Since the symptoms are usually less severe than with the influenza virus, I don't think having adenovirus, if I can say this, is as big of a deal. Most infections with adenovirus are going to get better on their own, so really it's just grandma's chicken soup and rest is all you should need.
You'll find much more on the flu outbreak on 11alive.com, including ways to protect your family and more information about getting tested. All right, let's send things over to Natisha Last now with some other big headlines in our speed feed. And Natisha, Atlanta police have arrested a fugitive tonight.
That's right, Vinny. Aaronus Alexander was captured by police today, but there's still another fugitive on the run. His name is Jeremy Sims, and Crime Stoppers is asking if you have any information about him to contact them, and there is a $2,000 reward for his arrest. Nearly $500,000 in drugs is off the street tonight. Douglas County Police say a traffic stop led to this bust. Officers pulled over a U-Haul in Billerica that was delivering drugs to a nearby home. Inside that vehicle, about 50 pounds of marijuana. Investigators say they then raided the home, and that's where they found 10 more pounds.
This marijuana that was seized has the potential to go for as much as $4,500 a pound. It is high quality, hydroponically grown marijuana. So that in and of itself is, you don't see that very often.
Also inside that home, cocaine, a stolen handgun, and a whole lot of cash. 3 people are now under arrest facing charges. A multi-vehicle accident shut down all westbound lanes on I-20 at the peak of rush hour today. This was at the exit for H.E. Holmes Boulevard. And if that wasn't enough, Atlanta firefighters battled a bushfire on the other side of the freeway. There were some minor injuries, but both scenes were cleared quickly. Now take a look at this. This is not for the faint of heart. It's the world's longest zip line, which opens tomorrow in the United Arab Emirates. It's so long that it's already been certified in the Guinness Book of World Records, and this thing will carry you more than half a mile and a half, going over 90 miles per hour down the highest mountain peak in the Middle East, which is 6,300 feet. And Benny, the tourism authority there is hoping that this zip line is going to attract some tourists to go there. So I'm sure you've already packed your bags, right?
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
I looked at the video
prudent.
for it, and my stomach just dropped.
Cool.
I don't think I could do it either.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Natisha.